Welcome to AIU Perspectives. I'm your host, Dan Rinkus. We're here at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center in downtown Pittsburgh for the 4th annual Eradicate Hate Global Summit. It was formed in response to the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history, right here in Pittsburgh at Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. Happening within this event is the Eradicate Hate Student Summit, and it too is proving to be a success.
29 Pittsburgh area schools, more than double last year's total, are here to work together to create safer, more compassionate schools and communities.
Our world is changing, and having, prejudices and biases are so limiting.
Why they heeded this call to action in the wake of unspeakable terror. The AIU's Mon Valley School gives students who have special needs a hands-on education.
How do we make them as independent as we can possibly make them? And that looks very different for every kid.
The diverse programs that give them an advantage as they prepare for the next steps in their lives. Plus, how one group of AIU employees is standing up to make sure children in need have a happy holiday season.
Right now, though, let's take you inside the Eradicate Hate Student Summit, where more than 350 local high schoolers are learning how to build up their communities and fight hate.
I never would have realized, but I'm so happy to have realized that the summit has become such a big thing, especially in this area.
On a sunny fall day, the David L. Lawrence Convention Center is shining with ideas, creativity, and hope.
How can you understand someone with a different perspective?
The second annual Eradicate Hate Student Summit brought together high school students from across Allegheny County. Organized by the Allegheny Intermediate Unit and supported by groups including the Light Education Initiative, the summit focused on solutions to hate that are centered on students.
So what's really exciting about the Eradicate Hate Global Summit is that you're bringing so many folks from across the globe together to do this work. But they also realize how important it is to have young people as part of that process.
Students from 15 schools joined young people from the 14 schools who attended the first year of the summit in parallel with the Eradicate Hate Global Summit.
The emphasis here is on what is happening in their own school communities. What are the things that they want to work on to combat hate? And I think that's what's really special because it might look different in different school districts. And so we're putting students in the position of really kind of thinking through their own local community and what are the things that they can do to combat hate.
The reaction to last year's Student Summit and the work that was done there led to a new position being created at the AIU to help foster this event.
The students and the school districts continue to challenge us to grow our program because they see value in it.
Nick Haberman is the coordinator of civic engagement and anti-hate education at the AIU. He believes the growth of the summit is a reflection of emerging attitudes among local students.
Students are hungry for opportunities. They don't need someone telling them what to do. They need someone supporting them with the ideas that they come up with. The students have the best ideas to counter hate and identity-based violence. We just need to be there for them.
That includes dark days like the Tree of Life Synagogue shooting in Squirrel Hill in October of 2018. 11 people were murdered in the largest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. Students who attended the summit watched Repairing the World, Stories from the Tree of Life, a documentary chronicling the shooting and its aftermath. First-time attendees and returning participants separated into working groups to discuss solutions for combating hate. Students like Tatiana Cernansky, a senior from Northgate's No Place for Hate group, have developed creative ways to express their concerns and use their voices.
So the game Is It Fair is a game that we made. It basically includes scenarios that happen on a day-to-day basis that we don't usually think about. So it's scenarios and the card gets passed around, you read it, and everyone kind of puts their opinion in on what they think they collected from the card.
Through student cooperation and teacher feedback, these creative solutions can bring true understanding.
So I feel like the game Is It Fair? It is a good way to help educate yourself, people around you. It gives you more of an open mind when you're talking to other people.
Aaron Martz of South Allegheny is returning to the summit to improve upon the lessons he learned last year and to impart wisdom on students attending the summit for the first time.
The younger kids look up to the high school kids. The people that are older than us might see us as the future. So I think high school age is very important.
Both sets of students got to hear from survivors of the Tree of Life shooting. It's a key part of the experience. Young people learning firsthand about the effects of hate when it spirals out of control.
to be able to speak to them first here and then again at the panel made me able to have a relationship with them, open up, and kind of understand what they're going through. It's like, oh, wow, this is happening in my community. This is real, and this is what will continue to happen if I don't take that step forward.
Some students are all too aware of the role hate can play in their lives.
We've had a lot of immigrants and refugees coming from other countries, and I think that's been just one of the most amazing things about my high school experience.
Noah Quinn, a senior at Avonworth, is a member of his school's anti-hate initiative. He also just gained a new family member.
About 3 weeks ago, actually, my family was lucky enough to adopt who I now call my brother, Abdul Basid. He's from Ghana, orphan, war-torn country. And honestly, I hadn't really had a lot of black friends growing up, and it's just so amazing to see all these new cultures and new people, and it's one of my favorite things about growing up is meeting new people, and I'm so excited to see where this new relationship and part of my life takes me.
He's excited for the road ahead, and he wants to combat hate in his community, even after he graduates high school.
I think it's just so important because our world is changing, and having prejudices and biases are so limiting, and there's so many amazing people outside of your maybe home or borders. And it's just so important to look towards new ideas that can come along with meeting just new people. And I mean, one of the girls kind of stood up and talked about it. It's just true. Once you really do meet these people, you realize that there are no differences.
Aaron Martz helped lead the way for this summit. He's part of the South Allegheny Eradicate Hate group that attended the Eradicate Hate Global Summit years ago, before the Student Summit got going.
You really have to lead with kindness, and that's something that I learned that I've really been trying to act upon these past couple years, is just leading with kindness, being kind to people you see in the hallways. Don't discriminate based off of how they act or talk or look.
In the last year, he and his group set and accomplished a goal of visiting the African American History Museum and the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C.
Even though we are in this group and we are the leading factors of eradicating hate, there's always room for improvement.
He's also committed to fostering change for as long as he can, and he's aware of leaving a legacy for younger students to follow.
If somebody feels so terrible, just a simple introducing yourself or saying hi to them in the hallway, complimenting them on something, it can really make someone's day, make or break someone's day.
Aaron also got a thrill when former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords dropped by the Student Summit. He got to meet with Giffords, who survived an assassination attempt and now speaks out against gun violence.
Thank you.
The Eradicate Hate Student Summit continues to provide a platform for students to speak out against hate.
We hope that they are seen as the leaders in this work in their schools and communities. We hope that they can share this in a positive way.
When bad things happen, there's still things that we can do to combat hate.
Students will continue to convene. Another session is scheduled for the spring, and they're committed to making lasting change in their communities.
Being kind is the best way to go about life, I think.
Everything around us is changing. It's a new world, and everything isn't just stuck right here in front of us. And I think it's really, really important to just open your minds.
Metal is grinding. Knives are chopping. And saws are cutting. But most importantly, gears are turning in the minds of students here at Mon Valley School. Nestled in Jefferson Hills, this school is a space where students who have special needs can learn with an emphasis on individualized support. Mon Valley School supports students anywhere from kindergarten age through their complete 21st birth year, as determined appropriate by their IEP, Individualized Education Program, team.
I think this is a very nurturing place where the staff does an incredible job of differentiating between what each kid needs.
Dr. Richard Dowell is the principal of Mon Valley School, which is part of the AIU's Special Education Division. Opened in the 1970s, the school built its reputation on providing students with the tools and skills they need to succeed in their careers and lives.
I think the goal for every kid here, doesn't matter whether it's emotional support, artistic support, life skill support, vocational, is how do we make them as independent as we can possibly make them? And that looks very different for every kid.
Mon Valley School takes in students from more than 30 school districts in the greater Pittsburgh area. The goal is to help students with a closer focus. In some cases, the student-teacher ratio can be as small as 3 to 1.
The nice thing about here, about Pathfinder, about Sunrise, is they can get a true school experience, but specialized to meet the needs that they have that the home district can't do.
One of the keys to Mon Valley's mission is its pre-vocational programming. There is a total of 10 different vocational programs available to students at the Mon Valley School. All full-time secondary-aged students, as well as those enrolled as part-time secondary learners, receive vocational instruction as part of their full educational program. While students learn about material handling, being a nursing aide, or maintaining the buildings and grounds, they're also learning essential skills that go hand in hand with their jobs.
Things like how to shake somebody's hand and how to talk to a boss and what does clocking in and clocking out mean. Places don't teach that. So a lot of kids go into it and they get fired from their first job because they don't have those essential skills.
A prime example of this successful approach is Jason. Now 19 years old, he started attending Mon Valley School back in 2013.
It was a whole new world because I had a very rough time in an actual school setting environment. And when I came here, a lot of the people were very kind. They were very willing to help me learn.
Jason was interested in both computer science and graphic arts. He and his classmates put their studying to good use when they created a medical device for the Pennsylvania Governor's STEM competition in 2023.
Think Fitbit, but the idea being a kid could wear a watch that would monitor blood pressure and pulse.
So that when the heart rate started to increase, it could then send a signal to a teacher's device, phone, what have you, and let them know that a student may be having a behavioral issue.
Working on projects like that filled Jason with hope for his future. Attending Mon Valley School and Forbes Road Career and Technology Center, he has his sights set on a career after school. And in his view, it's all due to his principals and teachers like Rob DiFilippo.
And given the fact that he'd been here for so many years and dealt with so many different types of students, Mr. D was just, I knew I'd found that kind of instructor that would be willing to help no matter what.
DiFilippo helped found the computer science program at Mon Valley School, getting it off the ground with the help of grant funding several years ago. His classroom has grown into a hub that marries theoretical learning with the practical.
If I had to summarize my program in one fell swoop, it would be that I try to teach students how to be problem solvers and how to think critically.
I stopped by DiFilippo's classroom to get a first-hand look at the space where he and his students learn how to create through technology and thought.
You talk about the practical applications of it. I feel like that helps them take those steps in the right direction, so to speak. You know, hands-on education, and it's part of the vocational programs here that you teach.
They have a true understanding of what it is that they're making and why they're making it and what they're learning. The very first semester in school this year, we did a whole unit on understanding measurement, and that a lot of students looked at me and said, Mr. D, I thought this was computer science. Why am I learning how to read a tape measure? But when we got into Adobe Illustrator and they began realizing, oh, I have to be able to make something a specific size. And the material comes in 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and they have to know the difference between that and be able to use a tape measure to do that.
One of the things DiFilippo enjoys most is giving his students the opportunity to unlock doors, giving them just the right amount of instruction to excel.
I think the most fulfilling part of the job for me is just every day, because every single day that I come in here, there's multiple times during the day I see students that the light bulb goes off and they've struggled doing something. Think about yesterday. So I had a student that I've had for a couple of years, and he struggled immensely with this exact design, with being able to vectorize text. He actually scooted back, looked at me, and said, I need to take a walk. And I could tell that he was getting frustrated and angry. So he left the room and he came back in and he sat down and he kept working. And then he turned around in his chair and looked at me and went, I did it. And that's the light bulb moment.
Down the hall, I stopped at Mon Valley's print shop.
Well, each kid is so different here. I think that's what's so fun about it. And they each have their own skill set.
Tara Morelli is the school's art teacher. She walked me through the process to create items that students can make, whether they're t-shirts worn by staff or baubles hanging on a tree.
Now I'm holding in my hand this, I assume this is a Christmas ornament, seeing that it's got Santa on it. But tell me a little bit about it and why it was created and how.
Okay, so this is one of our sublimation ornaments, and we were asked by the speech and language department last year we made Christmas ornaments for them in a similar way, but they looked a lot different. We have a sawgrass printer over here. That's our sublimation printer. It's specialized for this process, and you have to print the printouts on there, and then I actually have over here I can grab.
Let's see it.
Put it together. You have to tape it together front and back, and then you take it over to the heat press, and we put them all in the heat press, and when it's done, we take them off. And
that's the same thing that I've got here, right?
Yep.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay.
And that process can be done on mugs, on cups, on t-shirts, on a whole bunch of different things.
It's these types of hands-on experiences that help students like Sarandon chart a course for their lives.
It gives me an opportunity to interact with other people.
Sarandon is in her first year at Mon Valley, and she wants to use what she's learned to create an Etsy store.
What are you going to sell on that Etsy store?
T-shirts, stickers, and everything else.
She is a shining example of the school's and the AIU's mission to serve every learner.
What I love about it is we have kids that are able to do different things, and it all comes together and works together like a well-oiled machine eventually.
Right.
So sometimes it takes a little while to figure out, what their abilities and skill levels are for certain tasks, but we always find a place for everybody, and that's what I think the most fun part is.
The school's mission is personal for the staff, all the way up to the principal.
So I have a nephew with some pretty significant needs that lives in South Carolina, and there's nothing like it down there. So he struggles.
Dr. Dowell is the son of 2 educators. He's also an Army child. When he finally settled in Western Pennsylvania in the early 2000s, he got bit by the special education bug.
And then found out I had the special ed heart.
The Mon Valley School prioritizes the needs of its students, and it's something they truly feel.
I will be grateful for what they taught me.
Coming here every day for like the past 11 years has truly helped me see that there is good in the world.
Those feelings and the lessons they've learned along the way will help them thrive.
I think that's one of the neatest things about this place is I don't think they look at it as looking to teach kids with special needs. They teach.
It is early December at the AIU Central Office in Homestead, and Betty Diamond is swimming in a sea of gifts. She's making sure all of these toys, clothes, and other items get to children in need.
The mission is to help the neediest of the needy children. If you have a fire in your home, or if you have a domestic violence situation, or maybe you have a lot of children and you can't afford to get them bedding and they're sleeping on the floor.
In addition to being a senior administrative support in the AIU's Early Childhood, Family, and Community Services Division, Betty chairs the AIU's Stand for Children Committee. The committee helps advance Stand for Children's work to make education more equitable for all learners.
Stand for Children is like a little safety net that the AIU employees contribute to help out.
Betty is celebrating her 20th year at the AIU. In that time, there is one annual holiday tradition that warms her heart more than any other, the Giving Tree.
I get a lot of compliments from people saying, "I'm so glad you still do this." People like it. People enjoy it. I enjoy it.
For a lot of folks, the holiday season means relaxation and good cheer, but that's not the case for everyone. And that's why each of these tags means so much to Betty and the committee.
It makes me feel so grateful that we have such generous people that care about the kids in the schools and the programs.
Each fall, AIU employees take a tag from one of 2 giving trees at the central office. Each tag includes information about a child served by some of our early childhood and alternative education programming, our special education schools, and our family centers. Then our staffers purchase gifts for those children and put them under the trees.
There's a lot. I have 255 tags on the tree this year so far.
The Giving Tree is more than a mission of charity. It also helps bring AIU employees together.
And it's not like you're given to some organization that you don't know, you would never know. It's people that maybe you don't know them personally, but somebody else knows them personally.
Betty and the Stand for Children Committee have also received national exposure for their efforts. In the fall of 2023, the AIU Stand for Children Committee logo was featured on the cleats of then Buffalo Bills player Dane Jackson, a relative of Stowe Rock's Family Center site director Michael Smith, as part of the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats initiative.
So he offered to do My Cause, My Cleats. So we were so excited.
The cleats were then auctioned off, raising $350 for the committee. Back at the central office, Betty and her team are sifting through bags of gifts, getting them ready for a holiday drop-off.
It just makes your heart feel good when you give.
It's a task she takes great pride in, one that will help bring local children hope for a brighter future.
That's going to do it for the first season of AIU Perspectives. We can't thank our employees and partners enough for everything they've done over the first season. Season 2 will be coming out in the spring, and we have a lot of great things for you. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.